Okay, guys, you know I'm a Lokean. I couldn't resist a cheap joke. I went to church and I saw the light. Give me 1 second. Look, he's so terribly proud of me. He knew I was waiting. I was saving that up. Whew. That was something. So we were at Mass for it's almost 8:30 now. We left at 6:30, so we were on about 2 hours. Um, One thing, that church does not pay their heating bill. It was freaking cold in that church. I came back, thank the gods I have heat, but I have all my space heaters on. I'm like, I'm so cold. I kept my winter jacket on. It was cold in that church. I thought it would be real hot and everything. And I know you're all like, okay, what did you feel spiritually? I felt what I felt as a child. I didn't feel God. This God they keep talking about, I didn't feel whatsoever. I felt kind of like this kind of interested presence, but maybe I saw more in my mind's eye like the baby Jesus, but it could have been like a universal God baby thing. So like Yule. And angels didn't come down or anything else, but of course our gods, knowing I'm full open because I'm in a holy temple, took advantage. And the two highlights were Apollo being like, you better be singing. Because, gods pop in and out of my life all the time. And Loki decided they were too serious. So during some of the more boppy songs, because they used YouTube in their sermon, which was pretty cool actually, he's in fox form, he's beside me dancing like this, dancing like that, playing little fox-sized bongo drums. And I'm trying not to laugh in church. And then I'm like, you little brat, you're the one that always used to make me laugh in church. And he's like, ha. Because, they're more relaxed than Catholics. They're happier to be there than Catholics. They're kind of having fun, but he wanted to be more fun. He's like, where's the laughter at? And we like most of it except for the emphasis on sin, which we don't believe in as pagans, and the emphasis on taking the little ones. They had a little tiny bit for the little ones. They had them go up front and sit down. And they're talking about the nail on their Christmas tree. And I thought, oh Lord, don't you do this as little baby children. Don't be doing this to them. And even though it's Jesus' birthday, it should be a happy day. And I feel Jesus practically face palming in the back of the church, reminding him about the sacrifice of Jesus. Jesus was born just so he could die. And I'm like, you have the most defeatist religion in the world. This is why I became a pagan. But that's the difference between them and us. They focus on sin, on what they perceive themselves as doing wrong. We can certainly see what we're doing wrong. We know right from wrong. We don't need a big holy book and a temple to tell us. And they focus on the sacrifice to them of God's only son. They don't see multiple gods. We do. And they see a God who sent his son down. Please, Odin, don't start about only a... Please don't start. Odin will start about what kind of God sends his son to do a God's job. Please don't start. Because according to them, it's all the same God. It's complicated, but it's kind of all the same God. There's three of them, but it's one. But we had the candle lighting, and I participated in the singing, and I was really open. I was like, if there's anyone that wants to talk to me, now would be the time. You can talk to me now. And I didn't have a big spiritual revelation. I thought I could sense, say, some of the archangels. I thought I could sense some other stuff. And the person wasn't too bad, but they kind of kill it for me when they start talking about sin and Jesus had to die. I'm like, man, it's Christmas for one day a year. Can't we be happy? But to them, that's part and parcel. And I'm like, this is why I never really enjoyed church. It should be a joyous celebration. It should be happiness, but it's always cloaked in sorrow. And I'm like, I don't know how they then expect these people to go out in the world and be happy. Where we as Lokeans, our first principle thing to learn, even though we don't have a book on this, is how to laugh. If you don't know how to laugh, Loki will teach you. There is nothing like sitting there in a church trying to be halfway serious. He's there, I'm serious. Ha ha ha! Get it? Yes, baby, we get it. And Loki decides that he has to show up in fox form. He'd shown up in god form, and I'd seen like a couple of the gods, but the big G of the house never really checked in. And if he wasn't doing the interpretive fox dance and playing little fox bongos along with the more peppy tunes, he decided he didn't like this story, this scary story about Jesus being put on the cross. And there's this fox in my mind's eye trying to hide his head in the crook of my arm, and I'm like trying not to laugh, and then he's like, it's cold. So I'm mentally putting this fox in my jacket, and I'm like, I hope that there are no Christians that have second sight, because they are going to be wondering, why in the hell is there a fox in that woman's jacket? Because my God, it's wondrous and strange. And I got Loki a candy cane, so he got a candy cane because there were candy canes at the church. Yeah, I managed to not set the church on fire, or drop the damn candle, which I was sincerely praying I didn't do. And when I was lighting the candle, I kind of felt Apollo's presence. Not so much Balder. I was trying to get in contact with Balder, and Balder, sometimes he loves me very deeply, and sometimes he's kind of miffed at me for some reason I have yet to understand. So it was like I felt Apollo, I kind of felt Odin, I definitely felt Loki, who decided this was playtime! There was one moment that, I guess if you call him God, not Loki though, it felt like their God. And by their God, I just mean the one monotheistic God. They had turned out the lights for Silent Night, and this thing went screwy with the light panel. And there was this flash of light up and down, and there was this pop of the speakers because the speakers all went out. And I knew it wasn't Loki, because he's sitting there like, oh, that's cool. So I don't think it was Loki. I think their god probably does exist, and he tries to communicate with them by being playful. I think God is playful by nature and happy by nature, not, oh, let's sit here every Sunday and every holy day and talk about how bad and sinful we are. It wasn't that heavy, but I'm hypersensitive to stuff, so if you bring it up once in the conversation, that is all I heard. I didn't hear about the joy. I didn't hear about the happy. I didn't hear about the best gift in the world, even though I heard all of this. I tend to focus on the one bad thing. You said, well, wait a minute. Why did he have to die for me? I used to drive Catholic priests nuts. I said, well, why couldn't God take me instead? Jesus didn't have to do that for me. But yeah, I didn't receive any calling from the church. I don't think I'm called to a higher purpose. I'm not going to start some kind of fusion. Really didn't feel Jesus too much either. I felt like the baby Jesus, and I felt the kind of peace you get, but I think it's because everybody's trying to calm down and be quiet. And the sermon was pretty interesting. Like I said, I zone out when you start talking about being bad and everything, and I did give to the church. I talked to my gods, and they were like, to honor your ancestors, since your dad would give like a silver 50-cent piece and some quarters and that, you'd always give coins. Give coins. It's okay. Yeah, the church is probably going to go out and spread the word of God, but pagans will kind of hear it and they'll go in one ear out the other. It's okay for you to give to a church, because it might also go to feed the needy or to, pay their light bill or something. Because I did feel compassion for them. It's a tiny church. It's super tiny. I used to go to Catholic church, and this is a super tiny church. And even though they have these screens, like we have computer monitors in front of us, they have these really big monitors, and they have like all the music and everything up on the monitors. It was freezing cold. It was painfully cold. Most people didn't take their jackets off. It was painfully cold. So they can't even properly insulate this building. It's freezing cold in this church. I felt compassion for them. I'm like, no one should have to give worship like this unless you're some kind of, You believe that it has to be the coldest day of the year when you go out to worship our gods. Nobody should have to put themselves through this to worship their god. I actually felt compassion for them. I felt compassion for me too, and I wish I hadn't switched out of my warmer pants. I put on jeans to look all fancy, and then I go to this church and everybody's dressed whatever. She had told me, but I was like, oh yeah, I bet they'll be fancy. They weren't fancy at all. Catholics make a contest out of it and they dress up. Trust me, at least at my church he used to. So Loki went to church. And the gods were being pretty respectful, but I kind of felt what Odin wanted to say and he didn't say. That Elvis has left the building. That if their god, and please forgive me if you're Christian, if their god was in that building, he wasn't there for me. He wasn't going to answer me. And I had prayed before I went. I said to the gods, I said, will you please tell me who God is? Because pagan gods are smart. They'll all go, I'm God. And technically they're right. But I'm like, who was the god? Like, who's the god that played with the lights? Who's the god that went poof? And Dionysus is back here. That was me. That was all me. And it was weird. You know how Odin said that there were only Norse gods? I figured out after entering this temple dedicated to a god that Odin had once again fibbed. And he's like, I'm sorry. And I'm like, no, you're not. And I never want to see the day you're truly sorry for lying to me. I said, I know now when you're lying. You're like a little kid. You can't lie. I don't know how you do that. Because Loki's literally my patron god, the father of lies. And even though Loki, in your experience, will usually be truthful for you, you usually get a pretty good lie monitor. And it was okay. Odin wanted time for the Norse gods, and I understand that. He loves me, and they love me. But he knows this is like the international house of awesome. As I've said, gods come and go from all lands, and sometimes they don't want to be with me, and sometimes they're miffed at me because I missed a day I don't know about because nobody celebrated it in 1,000 years. But, that's the mystery of our gods. Our gods don't call us to suffer. They don't call us to sit in a pew. They don't call us to give money. You can make a love offering if you go somewhere and they have to like rent the room and everything, and you can pitch in if you feel like it. But you're never going to hear a speech from Loki about, I gave you all this stuff, so now you have to give me money so that somehow I can continue giving other people stuff, something. And I always think, what does God need money for? I mean, if they would just come out and tell you the truth and say, hey, God is almighty, but he don't pay the light bill. That I can get behind. That'll be like, yeah, man, I'll help you out. But don't tell me God somehow mysteriously needs money. Because he said, well, God isn't poor. God has all these cattle and everything. And Apollo's like, bullshit, those are my cattle. But, yeah, don't take pagan gods to church. But, to relate it back to the god, I didn't like that either. I'm like, you people are so sweet. You sincerely believe this. And I'm sitting there like, is this the day I become an atheist? But I did not. I believe in our gods, and I realize everybody needs to believe in something, and a lot of people do need a framework that never changes. That's why they're Christians. They're suited to it. They're suited to a God that never changes, and they're suited to that lifestyle. Where I'm suited to a God that shows up in church as a fox and does a little foxy dance and plays little foxy bongos. And he wasn't being disrespectful, guys. It's not like Catholic Church where you go there and you know you're going to suffer for 90 minutes because you're scum. It was a lot more joyful. It still had a sin part, which as pagans we don't have to worry about because we're not sinful. Our gods are like, yeah, you effed up. Do it better next time. Proceed accordingly. You know you did wrong? Don't do it again. What the actual hell? That's how our gods are. Their god, I have a feeling they talk at each other and their god's just in the background like, they'll hear me someday. I promise. But again, if you're a Christian, that's not to, bash your religion or your beliefs. I was there to, be with my friend and to see, could I find out any answers for myself who God was. And I hear Loki, Loki, yes, Loki, and he's distracting, and it was to celebrate the birth of a god. And I'm like, I'm not too particular about the god. I can't go anywhere and celebrate the birth of Balder or anything else. I think Balder wandered in, took a look around, was like, "Ugh," walked out. They change like the wind sometimes, our gods. But overall, it was good, and Loki enjoyed himself. He got to sit there in the pew and sing songs, and kept trying to make me laugh because he thinks, any kind of service should be joyful. So if you think I sing high, and I did sing here and there, there's nothing like hearing a little fox voice sing, because he can nail the voice I used to do. I used to do a voice of a fox called Loki on the other channel. And he talked like this. So if he would sing, it would be real high. And there's this guy beside me doing this, and I'm like, oh my lord. So it was fun. I don't feel the need to ever attend church ever again in my lifetime because I don't like the whole sin bag, but that is up to them. That is how they're happy, so I wasn't going to stand up and go, you could all be free, come worship Loki. That's not right to take somebody's religion away from them. So, if you guys got to go to Mass, or you have a chance to go to Mass tomorrow or be with your family at Christmas, you can. You don't have to believe in somebody's beliefs to support them. You can even pity them and think, oh my god, these are your beliefs, really? You can still support them and respect them. As my mother would say, it doesn't matter even if they believe in a tree or you believe in a tree, as long as you believe in something. She would have made a great pagan. And that's the thing, at least they believe in something. We might not agree with that something, we might not agree with the concept of sin or God having to die for us, but we do have sacrifice saviors, we do have gods that died. In a sense, you could call Loki a sacrifice savior, depending on whether or not you believe in the binding of Loki. So it's just food for thought, but it's a happy time. It's Yule, it's happy time. It's the magical time of the year when the All-Father rides through the skies with the host of the dead, gathering up souls, judging the living, and scaring the living hell out of people. He loves it. And leaving presents. So it is a good time. It's a time of peace. It's almost a universal time of peace. I can't think of any religion that wants to start a fight at this time of year. Well, Church of Satan apparently put something up in a capital somewhere and announced that all religions are garbage and blah 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 blah. And I was like, Merry Christmas to you too, jerk. That's not religion, that's trying to start a fight. But they're atheists, what do you want? So if you guys like what you see, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you later. Bye bye.